Security of lives and properties of Nigerians is a constitutional obligation.
President Buhari inaugurates police operational assets, promises a modernized and motivated police force in Nigeria. EFCC secures order to remand for 14 days former Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Mohammed Adoke.
For us as a government, our expectation from this agreement is job creation for our youth.
President Muhammadu Buhari inaugurates Action Committee for Effective Implementation of African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. And Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole continues its onslaught on terrorists in the northeast. Hello, you're on to NTA Network News with me, Jumma Yusuf, live on the network service of the NTA. Compliments of the season. Tonight, Jennifer Igwe will be joining me from our Lagos studio, and Kemi is in Ibadan. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll begin with the presidency, as criminal elements in the country will no longer have any hiding place, as the Nigerian police force is now well positioned to, at any point in time, monitor, detect, prevent and confront acts of crime and criminality for sustainable peace and prosperity. This followed the inauguration of the state-of-the-art critical policing assets acquired by the Force High Command as part of efforts towards redefining the nation's policing framework. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony, tasked the police to avoid complacency in the renewed drive towards ridding the country of crimes. State House correspondent Adam Osombo has details.
Praying to God for guidance and protection of the police in the discharge of their responsibilities, President Muhammadu Buhari formally inaugurated 139 patrol, surveillance and tactical operational vehicles, including 21 armored personnel and troop carriers, as well as anti-riot water cannon trucks. Also inaugurated were the National Command and Control Center, as well as the first phase of the Crime and Incident Database Center. Both the vehicles and the centers, kitted with the state-of-the-art equipment, were provided by the Police High Command towards enhancing efficiency and effectiveness in crime detection, prevention, and control.
I wish you the best of luck.
President Muhammadu Buhari noted with delight that the leadership of the police has keyed into the federal government's next-level agenda in relation to strengthening institutional capacity towards addressing the nation's internal security challenges.
Security of lives and properties of Nigerians is a constitutional obligation. It is for this reason that I have always prioritized the police as a critical agency in the internal security architecture of our country. My vision is to bequeath to our nation a legacy of a reformed, modernized, fully equipped, highly motivated, and citizen-focused police force that is reoriented to the virtues of professionalism, respect for rule of law, due process, and best international practices in their operations.
Already impressed with the improved security situation in Nigeria through the technology-led and intelligence-driven models by the police, the President directed the Minister of Police Affairs to fast-track the takeoff of the Police Trust Fund so that other operational and logistics requirements of the force will be met.
You must take cognizance of the fact that in the discharge of your duties, you shall not only be judged by the number of crimes you have stopped or the number of convictions you have secured, but also the extent to which the process of achieving your statutory mandate conforms to professional and legal standards.
Both the Minister of Police Affairs, Muhammad Megari Dingyadi, and the Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu, appreciated President Muhammadu Buhari for the unprecedented support and assistance to the Nigeria police, which they promise will not let the nation down.
Mr. President, you can be rest assured of our commitment in ensuring that Nigeria police is properly positioned to drive the next level security agenda of the federal government.
We shall sustain our blueprint of modernizing all components of our operations towards addressing any form of threat to our internal security.
This is the first visit by President Muhammadu Buhari to Louis Edet House since coming to power. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The National Action Committee for the Implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement have been charged to ensure that existing gaps, loopholes and threats that might be injurious to the nation's economy are effectively addressed. President Muhammadu Buhari, who gave the charge while inaugurating the committee, maintains that Nigeria's approach to the agreement remains measured and consistent. Again, State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
We know the benefits and understand the challenges.
President Muhammadu Buhari is of the firm belief that for Nigeria to fully benefit from the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, an implementation program must be in place that reflects national trade objectives and development plans. He said although this trade, together with free movement of people and capital, will result in faster integration of African economies, Nigeria, as the continent's largest economy and most populous nation, cannot afford to get it wrong.
For us as a government, our expectation from this agreement is job creation for our youth, increased production of our local raw materials, and ultimately exporting quality made in Africa goods. We must ensure that Nigeria's position remains that such integration must be rules-based with built-in safeguards against injurious practices.
The president therefore directed all key ministers and senior government officials to give maximum support to the committee so that the benefits of the agreement can be realized and measures put in place towards addressing threats that may arise.
This therefore requires aligning, restructuring existing development projects, programs, and initiatives. You are to submit quarterly reports on your progress, and I look forward to receiving your first report in March 2020.
The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Otumba Adeni Adebayo, said the committee under his chairmanship is to undertake a wide range of actions to prepare Nigerian businesses for trade under the AFCFTA regime.
The mandate of the National Action Committee includes championing programs to resolve the critical continental level challenges such as smuggling and abuse of rules of origin, production capacity constraints, as well as border and trade rules enforcement.
The committee is also to ensure the conclusion of the ongoing trade reform programs at ECOWAS, including the adoption of a common trade policy, resolving issues in the trade liberalization scheme, as well as establishment of an ECOWAS peer review, as well as audit mechanism. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has granted audience to the former head of state, General Yakubu Gowon, in Abuja. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports that President Muhammadu Buhari and the former Nigerian leader held discussions behind closed doors for about 30 minutes, but details were not made public. The 84-year-old General Yakubu Gowon ruled Nigeria between 1966 and 1975, during which he led efforts towards keeping Nigeria as one indivisible entity. He is the convener of Nigeria Praise, a Christian religious program established over 20 years ago out of the need to put an end to the various problems plaguing the country. Now to the judiciary and order matters. The Federal Capital Territory High Court sitting in Maitama has granted the plea of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to keep the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Mohammed Bello Adoke San in its custody. Justice Othman Musa gave the order in an ex parte motion brought before the court by the EFCC Council. Daily Atumbi reports that the order is to enable the Commission conclude its investigation in the alleged involvement of Adoke in the Malibu oil deal.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in 2017 filed charges against the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Mohammed Bello Adoke, SAN, Shell Nigeria Exploration Production Company, and 9 others for their alleged involvement in the Malibu oil deal. The The case involves the 2011 sale of the Nigerian Oil Production License OPL 245. The matter filed before the FCT High Court borders on alleged fraudulent allocation of OPL 245 and other forms of offences including forgery of bank documents, bribery and corruption to the tune of $1.2 billion. The case further contravenes the country's law on the transfer of OPL 245 from Malabu Oil and Gas Limited to Shell Nigeria Exploration. Following the continued absence of Adoke in court, Justice Danladi Shensi had on April 17 this year issued a bench warrant for the arrest of former Attorney General of the Federation and other defendants in the matter. This led to the arrest of Mohamed Adoke in Dubai by the Interpol on November 11, 2019. Adoke was handed over to the FCC on December 19 on his arrival from Dubai. The EFCC this Friday secured the order of the FCT High Court to detain the defendant in its custody for 14 days. Trial is expected to commence at the expiration of the 14 days detention order. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
The FCT High Court sitting in Maitama has ordered the final forfeiture of 25 properties belonging to Yar'Adua Foundation and 24 other registered entities. Justice Baba Yusuf gave the order in an ex parte application by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission. The forfeiture followed alleged tax liabilities of the owners of the properties running to 8.6 billion naira. Meanwhile, the federal government says it will continue its fight on corruption to make life meaningful to Nigerians through the evolution of infrastructural facilities. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, reaffirmed this in Abuja while reviewing the activities of the ministry in 2019. Dele Atumbi reports.
Before the advent of the present administration in 2015, Nigeria suffered a lot of setbacks as a result of endemic corruption, resulting in capital flight, lack of quality education, infrastructural deficit, inefficient medical care, leading to medical tourism, as well as poverty among the people. On assumption of office in May 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari assured Nigerians of his administration's determination to fight corruption to a standstill in the public sector with the aim of turning Nigeria around for good. About 5 years down the line, the administration has strengthened the anti-graft institutions with enabling legal framework and environment to bring to book those that have preferred the commonwealth of the nation. The success of the anti-graft war has improved the ease of doing business in the country, thereby engendering the confidence of foreign investors in the country's economy.
Our fight against corruption is total, comprehensive, and dispassionate, devoid of any political or ethnic sentiments or inclination.
The federal government has also developed the National Anti-Corruption Strategy and a guideline for smooth implementation of the strategy with 5 pillars. Between 2015 and September 2019, the government has secured 1,636 convictions, including 3 former governors across party lines, with 22 former governors still facing trials.
We have created a central database for recovered stolen assets, which is under the supervision of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice.
Following the federal government's commitment to the fight against corruption, the National Association of Judiciary Correspondents presented an award of excellence to the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
And from the National Assembly, the Senate has passed the 2020 statutory budget of the Federal Capital Territory of over 278.3 billion naira, with over 40 billion increase from the figure proposed by the executive. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unko reports that the Senate thereafter adjourned to the 28th of January 2020.
It's unconventional to see members of the National Assembly entering the chamber on a Friday for plenary. Friday, 20th of December 2019 will go down in history as the second time the 9th Senate held plenary on a Friday. The first was during the screening of ministerial nominees. The report of the Senate Committee on FCT on the 2020 statutory budget of the Federal Capital Territory was the only item considered. Chairman of the committee, Abubakar Kyari, presented the report, which recommended 278.3 billion naira for the FCT fiscal year against the 232.8 billion proposed, as he gave reasons for the increment.
Committees of FCT deliberated and resolved to double the proposed allocation to security in the Federal Capital Territory and its environs. The committees deployed funds to meet areas of critical needs like security, roads, water, health, education, and development of satellite towns within the territory.
160.1 billion was allocated to capital, while recurrent is 118.2 billion naira. Development of satellite towns received 36.5 billion. Universal basic education, 6.5 billion. Maintenance of public buildings, 3.4 billion. Federal Capital Territory Secondary Education Board, 3 billion.
I've looked at the spread, and I think that the spread, the increase on infrastructural development, especially the satellite towns, because we need to really decongest the city center.
And for the president to sign the budget 2020 before the end of December, and for the budget 2020 to start taking effect from 1st January, definitely the Nigerian economy will see significant changes.
Meanwhile, President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan received a delegation from the Ministry of Labor and Employment, who were on a condolence visit over the death of late Senator Benjamin Uwajumogu. Until his death, the late senator was the chairman Senate Committee on Labor. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. We'll take a breather now. When we return, more reports. Don't go away. Thanks for joining us. The House of Representatives has passed the Nigerian Customs Service budget for 2020 amounting to 238.149 billion naira. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the lawmakers passed the budget at a special sitting on Friday.
The Nigeria Customs Service budget passed during plenary captures the service's overhead costs and capital projects for the period.
The total sum of 238,149,325,832 naira 70 kobo only.
Also passed by the House was the Federal Capital Territory statutory budget for 2020 and a bill amending the National Council on Public Procurement, while a bill seeking the establishment of the National Oil and Gas Museum Research Institute Oloibiri in Delta State, sponsored by Fred Oba, passed through second reading. The House adopted a motion from Haruna Mshelia calling on relevant authorities to prevent Boko Haram attacks in communities in Borno State, and the motion raised by Simon Elisha urging the federal government to declare an emergency on snake bites in parts of Gombe State.
The prevalence of snake bites in Kaltungo and Shongom local government areas of Gombe State and have become serious public health and occupational hazards to the affected communities that are largely agrarian.
Deputy Speaker Ahmed Idris Wasi commended House members for their commitment to duty.
We appreciate you on behalf of the Speaker. I want to thank all of you that are here. We appreciate your contribution, your determination to impact positively on Nigerians. It's a rare sacrifice. May God bless and reward all of us abundantly. Thank you very much.
Plenary has been adjourned to 28 January 2020 as the lawmakers proceed for the Christmas and New Year break. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
To ensure synergy with the media, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has taken a step further to meet its core mandate in tackling humanitarian challenges in the country. Part of the strategy is building a stronger synergy with the media in reaching out to the public. This came to light during a dinner organized for heads of media organizations. Ruth Agwele reports.
They are the movers and shakers in the industry, and as top media practitioners, they have all come in unison in honor of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. This familiarization dinner is to develop an effective communication strategy by engaging media partners for a consistent dissemination of information to the public.
We will do whatever it takes to see that with your support so that this ministry takes off the ground. We drive it in a very robust manner and we succeed.
In driving its success, the media practitioners asked questions to bridge the gap by contributing their quota in meeting the ministry's core mandate and its vision.
If we can curb the issue of security, there will be less disaster.
We put in the best in terms of advice, in terms of correct reportage. We solemnly work and cooperate with them.
We're hoping that the media will support us to see that and disseminate this information down to the grassroots so that people will be more aware of the interventions that the ministry is doing in the critical aspects of the responsibilities that is based on it.
As expectations are high from both ends, they say it is a collective responsibility that will go a long way in mitigating humanitarian challenges and meets the needs of the most vulnerable in the country. In Abuja, Ruth Guala, NTA News.
The development and empowerment of women remains an integral part of the Buhari administration as more priority is now given to development centers and facilities that will equip women with the technical know-how and practical skills for empowerment and self-reliance. The National Center for Women Development is driving this quest with the upgrading of its facility to equip more women across the country. Momso Damien Dati reports.
One reception by the Director General and Management of the National Center for Women Development, the only parastatal under the Ministry of Women Affairs. Then a tour through the facility established to promote gender equity and development through research, data bank, training, documentation, and general empowerment of women that offers, among others, ICT trainings and female artisanship. Going by studies, the center, a unifying venue for women across Nigeria, is equipped with all that is required to build women for the challenges of the 21st century.
Empowering the woman is empowering the family, empowering the community and the nature. Once we want to get it right to change the narratives as far as the economy is concerned, the woman has to be in the center stage. And we have reached out programs of empowerment with different agencies.
Because there is no adequate supervision, most of them are not meeting up with their mandate. But when you have these zones, zonal offices, it will be easy to get to the grassroots.
The center boasts of a Nigerian Women Hall of Fame, state-of-art training facilities, arts and craft complex, clinic, a daycare center, and many more into meeting its mandate. The visit was not complete without an interactive session with the management and staff of the center to fashion ideas on how the lives of women can be better in Nigeria. I'm so Damien Dati, NTA News.
As the Yule Tide is fast approaching, it was a message of hope and prosperity for Nigerians in the new year as thousands gathered for the 2019 State House Christmas carols. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports that some of the dignitaries commended the Buhari administration for steering the nation towards a greater future.
From every part of the Federal Capital Territory, enthusiasts have come to witness the annual Christmas carol here at the Presidential Villa Banquet Hall. The carol is the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ, who in the Christendom is regarded as a gift to the world.
I believe as Nigerians, we have to celebrate the birth of the Lord, and we have to continue to hope and believe that he that says with him nothing is impossible.
There's going to be tremendous progress in this country in 2020. We've returned the country to the budget cycle of January to December with an element of certainty. Definitely there will be strides and developments that will take place in this nation.
There's so much to celebrate. Is there a lot that we're looking forward to? Absolutely. Is there a lot that we'd have wanted by now? Of course. But is there a lot to celebrate? Absolutely.
So we should be thinking about from next year to be talking more positive about this country, to be proud of this country.
For unto you is born this day in the
Lessons taken from the Bible reflect on the events which took place before, during, and after the birth of Jesus.
I'm talking about a day when money will be useless. I'm talking about a day when you will not even know the number of houses you have. You will leave everything behind. The question is, where are you going to spend eternity?
The carol features groups from across the country. From the State House Banquet Hall, Jude Onifade, Enter News.
And talking security matters in furtherance of the objectives for initiating Operation Rattlesnake, the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole has destroyed more logistic facilities belonging to the Islamic State of West Africa province, ISWAP, in the northern part of Borno State. In a statement, Director of Public Relations and Information, Komado Ibukule Daramola, explained that these recorded at Bakari, an island settlement within the Lake Chad Green Fringes, when Nigerian Air Force jets attacked and destroyed some compounds outside the ISWAP logistics stores, where the ISWAP logistics stores were kept. The target locations were seen to erupt into flames upon impact of the aircraft munitions. Operation Rattlesnake, which was specifically initiated to neutralize some pre-designated insurgent camps and logistic facilities, is a precursor to further air and ground operations aimed at completely destroying all remnants of the terrorists in the northeast. And motorists who go against traffic rules and regulations will not only be arrested but face prosecution by appropriate authorities. The Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboe Oyeyemi, gave the warning while briefing the Governor of Delta State, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, on strategies being adopted for free flow of traffic this festive season. Austin Edemodu reports.
The festive period comes with its attendant upsurge in traffic across the country. In most cases, motorists compound the traffic logjam by flouting traffic rules and regulations. This time, the Federal Road Safety Corps is taking no chances as it has adopted a proactive approach towards tackling the situation with severe punishment for erring motorists. This informed the visit of the Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi to the Governor of Delta State, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa. The Governor, on his part, warned drivers plying the Asabonisha Bridge Road to desist from driving against traffic or risk their vehicles being impounded. With the rehabilitation of the failed portion of the Asabonisha Highway, there seems to be relative free flow of traffic going into the festive period. I'm Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
1 minute. And President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated the Progressives Congress APC governors on their Supreme Court victories after what he called your patient legal battles to defend your mandates. A statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says President Buhari is pleased and proud that the governors have successfully concluded their legal battle, and now is the time to concentrate fully on fulfilling their campaign promises. After the distraction caused by the litigations, President Buhari noted that one of the great things about democracy is that it gives us avenues for redress through the courts. He, however, advised the governors not to see their challengers as enemies because they were exercising their democratic rights by going to the court to seek redress. The president reminded the APC governors that now that the legal battles are over, there are still challenges ahead. It is his hope that the governors won't rest on their oars by working harder to deliver good governance in the remaining years of their tenure. Now, for more reports on network news, let's join Jennifer Igwe in Lagos. Hello, Jennifer. Compliments of the season.
Thank you, Jumai. Same to you, and compliments of the season to you all Nigerians. Now, the Joint Task Force, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, have arrested 3 persons for illegally operating gas stations in Oworoshoki and Agege areas of Lagos State. Thomas Ogbetire reports that 4 illegal gas plants were also sealed up during the operation.
The rising cases of fire incidents and gas explosion have led to loss of property worth millions of naira and deaths in some cases. For instance, the 28th of November will linger for a while in the minds of the residents of Adoke Street off Ojo Road, Ajegule, where a gas cylinder store exploded as a result of leakage. 2 children died from this singular disaster, while 23 people suffered multiple burn injuries. This has no doubt challenged government and relevant agencies in Lagos State to tighten up security against illegal operations in the oil and gas sector. In furtherance of these, stringent measures are being taken against filling stations whose owners are not applying all the necessary safety measures and getting rid of those located too close to residential places, markets, and schools.
And what we tend to see in accidents like this is because we want to save their shop, they tend to want to fight the fire. Exposure to this gas tends to lead to cold burn, which tends to kill more. So that's why we are sealing this facility so that he will look for somewhere more appropriate that complies with safety requirements.
With the notion that security is everybody's business, it has now become the duty of citizens to be alert and report unwholesome activities of oil and gas marketers to prevent further loss of lives and property, especially now that the dry season has set in. In Lagos, Thomas Obetere, NTA News.
On security, the Western Naval Command, Nigerian Navy, has restated its commitment to carry out its constitutional duties of protecting the nation's territorial waters. Flag Officer Commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Oladele Daji, was speaking at the Nigerian Navy End-of-Year Division Parade and Ceremonial Sunset held at the NNS Naval Base, Apapa, Lagos. Imole Ayotukede has details.
End-of-year divisions parade is geared towards taking stock, evaluating, and re-strategizing. The Flag Officer Commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Oladele Daji, stated that the achievements recorded so far were the results of dedication of officers, ratings, and staff of the command.
The fishing trawlers, for instance, will tell you now, before now, they couldn't stay at sea for days, but now they go for days, and that in itself is an indication of the fact that the maritime environment is becoming safer, and we've not recorded any successful incident of piracy this year.
The ceremonial sunset, a combination of 3 ceremonies, which signifies the end of all events for the year, as well as preserve one of the age-long traditions of the Nigerian Navy. The event, which is also aimed at fostering cordial relationship between officers of the command and sister agencies, had in attendance both serving and retired Navy officers, captains of industry, and corporate friends of the Navy. In Lagos, Imole Ayotukede, NTA News.
That's a contribution from Lagos. Network News continues after this timeout. Stay with us.
You are watching NTA Network News. Now, Nigerian youths have again been urged to shun drugs, cultism, as well as other forms of social vices in order to remain focused in their quest to be self-reliant and become wealth creators. This formed the opinion of speakers at the Stanol Access Bank Entrepreneurship Workshop held in Oka. Chukunoso Nwabuze reports.
With the theme Become More, Access More with Stanel Masterclass, the workshop created the needed opportunity for these young prospective entrepreneurs within Anambra State to share in the experiences of some of the leading names in the world of business, academia, and creative economy.
Encourage youth to invite this culture of course, ICT, this culture of creative economy. Most of us sitting here right now, Your Excellency, are already successful entrepreneurs. And one of the major reasons why we put up this event is to let them know there is room for us to become more. The bank should not only involve financial transactions, the bank should involve human first development.
Typical of these kind of meetings, the interactive workshop was not short of resource persons who have distinguished themselves in different fields endeavor.
All of you have it in you to create great ventures.
But one thing that is obvious about entrepreneurship is that it comes from a basic principle of creative destruction.
So for you as a young man, a woman, a young girl, you must find out that thing that distinguishes you from the others.
In Oka, Chukunonsonwa Bweze, NTA News.
And Kemi in Ibadan has the next set of reports for us. Compliments of the season, Kemi.
Compliments of the season to you, to Jumai, and welcome to Ibadan. In the process of fighting against smuggling activities in the country, the Oyo-Osun Command of Nigeria Customs Service has seized items worth millions of naira. Kayode Oladoshu reports that the goods were concealed in trucks and vehicles meant for legitimate business.
Despite the border closure in the country, some unscrupulous Nigerians still find illegal means to smuggle contraband items into the country. While briefing newsmen, the controller of Nigeria Customs Service, Oyo-Osun Command, put it forward that his command is on the watch to intensify operational strategies in the cause of suppressing smuggling. Among the items seized are 2,540 pieces of 500 kilograms of foreign parboiled rice, 12 vehicles, 15 bags of imported sugar, 3 motorcycles. Others include 40 bales of second-hand clothes, shoes, and 500 pieces of tires.
We use a lot of intelligence. We use our informant. We use our knowledge of the job. So we use a lot of things to get someone. We can't get it all. But I know, by what you have seen now, that the area has performed very well in terms of anti-smuggling activity.
While the border drill exercise is still in force, the controller, however, urged Nigerians to key into the federal government programs on agriculture and other legitimate means of livelihood. In Ibadan, Kayode Oladoshu, NTA News.
It was jubilation galore along major streets in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, for Governor Seyi Makinde following the Supreme Court judgment which affirmed his victory in the March 9th governorship election. Ayomiku Ajibola has the details.
Truth is constant, they also stood by the truth. And for the people of Oyo State, we prepared the document on accelerated development of Oyo State.
That was Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde reacting to the Apex Court ruling shortly after arriving from Abuja with large numbers of party faithful at the airport to receive him. All chairs and luxury roads in Ibadan as people trooped out chanting victory song to express their joy and support for the governor. Addressing the jubilant crowd at the state secretariat, Governor Seyi Makinde said the judgment will enable him to concentrate fully on governance to deliver democratic dividends to the people of the state. Those who spoke described the jubilation across the state as acceptance of PDP and the governor.
People troop out and shut the whole economic activity of the state without being forced to do so.
We are going to do everything as a government to lift our people from poverty to prosperity.
In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. More reports with Jumai after the break.
Welcome back. First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has emphasized the need for well-meaning individuals to extend their humanitarian services in supporting the needy and other less privileged members of the society, particularly those at the hospitals, in order to restore their hopes and confidence as citizens of the country. The First Lady said this in a message during the distribution of food items and other essential commodities to patients who are currently receiving medical attention at various hospitals in Benin, Edo State. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports.
As part of our humanitarian activities of bringing succor to the less privileged persons in Nigeria, the First Lady Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, under her Future Assured program, has sent a delegation to Benin, Edo State to present food items and other nutritious commodities to the patients currently receiving medical attention at various hospitals in the state. About 1,000 packs of Future Assured items comprising milk, sugar, Noodles and other essential commodities were distributed by the Future Assured team.
Over the years, the Future Assured program has done a lot of medical outreach in different parts of the country, including medical screening for women for different medical conditions like diabetes.
The gifts that the First Lady sent to us was meant for 2 hospitals, but luckily it was enough to cover 4 hospitals.
Faith Mediplex were the last hospital visited by the team for this exercise, and the medical director, Dr. Temple Oguike, was overwhelmed with the gesture, describing it as unprecedented. In Benin, Edo State, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Now let's join Uche Ogochukwu for trending news from other parts of the globe.
Ethiopia has launched its first satellite into space to monitor climate change and improve research in agriculture and drought preparedness. The satellite, named ETRSS-1, was launched from China on Friday. Ethiopia plans to launch a broadcast satellite into space in the next 3 years. In another news, the United Nations Assistance Mission in Somalia has urged the country to hold one-person, one-vote elections by the end of 2020 or early 2021. The mission, consisting of the United Nations, the European Union, and 15 other partners, has also warned against the extension of President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed's term. Somalia's government had pledged to pass 2 crucial electoral bills by December to guarantee universal suffrage as well as 30% quota for women representation in parliament. But debate on the bills has been marred by divisions and financing of the polls. And U.S. President Donald Trump has demanded an immediate impeachment trial in the Senate amid an impasse among Democrats and Republicans over when it may start. On Wednesday, the House impeached Mr. Trump on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, but Democrats have refused to start the proceedings, arguing the Republican-controlled Senate is refusing witnesses and will not hold a fair trial. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
NTA shines again in FCT Swan 5-a-side football tournament. Here is Kene Ima Abudiki with details of these and more on Sports Update.
Team Nigerian Television Authority (NTA) continues their domination of FCT Sports Writers Association of Nigeria 5-a-side football tournament as they defeated the news agency of Nigeria NAN 4-1 in the final at the Area 3 pitch Abuja on Friday to win their 3rd consecutive title. Haruna Umar bagged a hat-trick while Olaleko Kelajolu made it 4 for Team NTA as NAN got their only goal of the game through Tijani at Tojoko.
My appreciation goes to the management of the NTA entirely and the general manager NTA Sport for believing in me and my crew for making it again for another successful year.
We gave a gallant fight and I'm sure some other time we'll do better.
Voice of Nigeria defeated the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria 5-2 to win the 3rd place match.
The Abuja residence of late Senator Benjamin Jumugo has continued to play host to mourners from within and around the nation's capital. National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adams Oshomole, is among the latest visitors that prayed God to grant the deceased eternal rest and the family the fortitude to bear his demise. He described the late Senator Benjamin as a faithful party member whose wealth of progressives ideology will be greatly missed.
As Christians, we are told that when we lost loved ones, however tragic, however painful, we shouldn't mourn like non-believers. And we pray that he will grant him eternal rest in heaven. Whatever the other preparation being made for to pay final respect, we want to be part of it.
Until his death, late Senator Benjamin Uwajimogo was the APC senator representing Imo North Senatorial District. Next is a quick check on the weather prospect for Saturday. That's Network News for tonight. Thanks for watching. I am John Maritov.